Hey, Afton, how you doing today?
Good, doing great.
Just want to say, I absolutely loved 20 something. It really brought forward, feelings all of us have experienced at one point, you know, not having a clue, kind of winging it, I suppose, at some point in our lives. How much of your own personal experience did you draw upon for that?
Oh yeah, well, it was like mostly all my personal experience. In my 20s, well, actually for one birthday in particular, when you have a birthday, people ask you, "Oh, happy birthday! Do you feel any different?" Which is such a weird question the day after you were at the other age. But I remember doing a comic about like, I don't feel like I'm getting any older. I just feel like there's more different versions of me, and we're all together trying to pull off being an efficient adult. And it was an idea that came up every birthday where it was like, yep, here I am again, 26, 27. Still don't feel any more competent. And that was just, it felt like such a fun idea to try and visualize, especially since this was my first time directing. So it felt
Yeah.
like first time directing, all the insecurities that come with that, and how can I channel some of those insecurities into this fun idea of this insecure person becoming an adult.
And obviously, with that, reflecting on, your own experiences, your 20s and all of that, what one piece of advice would you go back and, give yourself, at that kind of young age?
Yeah, I go back and tell myself to relax. I spent most of my 20s just panicking for no reason. And I was doing just fine. Even when you're messing up, it's all part of the process. And your 20s is going to be a mess. It has to be in order so you can get to your 30s and be successful. And I think just trusting in myself more and allowing myself to fake it till I make it instead of uh, feeling down on myself or putting myself down for not, having things mastered or knowing what 401k is or how to do my taxes and all of that right out the gate.
So would you say it was very much a cathartic experience, reliving some of those moments, but then, putting that into your work and making it something positive?
Yeah, yeah. It was nice to make a movie all about insecurities, help me get over my own insecurities.
I like how it highlights, how we tend to kind of beat ourselves up about, what we've not achieved, and we don't really focus on, what we have been able to, accomplish. Do you think that is more a prevalent issue in modern day with social media and all the things that brings?
Oh, potentially for sure. I feel like, well, being a millennial, I think well, I've heard that that's a millennial issue, but making this short, and the more I talk to people of different ages, they're like, I still feel that way. I think we always want to compare to our neighbor to the right or to the left, just because we can't visually see their freak out that they have it together. And there'd be a couple people at work too that I was like, that's an adult right there. That person has got it figured out. But I'm sure if I talked to them, they'd be like, oh, I'm all over the place too. So, yeah.
That person knows what a 401k is.
Yeah, yeah. They know they've got really good dental appointments locked down and they don't have to, all that good important adult stuff that I'm like floundering to get together.
I always feel, I don't know, maybe not jealous or maybe even scared when I see people with organizers and these planners. I'm like, have I meant to be doing that?
Like, yeah, that feels like the right thing to do. Yeah, but we all have our own way of navigating through life. I have a planner and I'm still freaking out about life. And the planner was supposed to help remove the stress. Yeah.
You need a planner for your planner.
Yeah, yeah.
This is, like you said, this is first time directing. What was that whole experience like for you?
Well, I mean, I was nervous at first. And then honestly, the pandemic really put things into perspective in the sense of like, it's going to be fine. There's a, craziness outside. It made it more fun of like, at least I get to direct a film that is a super awesome opportunity. And we're all going to work on this film together. And I think it just helped me kind of, I don't know, in the middle eye of the tornado to hunker down and be like, nope, we're going to make this and everything will be fine. And it was so fun working with all these talented people. I think that's the thing that kind of overshadows the insecurity of like, you don't have to have all the answers. You have a crazy talented team who's really willing to help you fill in the gaps of what you don't know. So it was super fun.
And what was the kind of biggest challenge? What was the main thing that really jumped out at you, when you were going through this this process?
Oh, there's so many challenges, but especially working from home. And I think one of them was trying to get from layout, doing layout setup at home and looking at those and providing feedback and trying to get that going felt so hard. And just giving feedback in general from like a cold computer, as opposed to being in person with someone and being like, oh, great. And, trying to like give a bunch of life and compliments before the critique. I feel like that's harder to do in person. So we tried to like find ways to warm up and get into things and chit chat before we just dive into a bunch of notes. I think that was pretty challenging.
You've also worked on a number of different, PIxar projects, Toy Story 4, as well as Soul, of course. What did you learn from those and obviously the other people you worked with that you brought to this project?
Yeah, well, in Toy Story 4, it was my first project, and it was a ridiculously talented group. And like, you have people on there like Jeff Pigeon, who worked on the very first Toy Story, and so you're like, oh my God, I have nothing to contribute. Jeff Pigeon's here, why do they need me? It kind of showed me how collaborative this is, and it's not just like one person's skill. Everyone brings something to the table. And so I think I thought about that with my amazing team too, of like, where these are all useful people. And then with Soul, Pete Docter was so good about asking people in the room. He'd be like, what do you think? Yeah. Me? And so I think I tried to remember that as a director because I really appreciated that. And people have a lot of really great ideas. So just taking a beat and like checking in with your other people in the room and helping everyone feel like this is their project. That was really helpful.
Just one final question, Aphton, before you go. What's in the pipeline for you at the moment? Do you now have the directing bug? Is that something you want to go back to right away, or maybe take a little bit of time away from doing that?
Yeah, well, yeah, once it started, I guess there's no stopping. So I'm going to be, I'm in development for a future project in the future. So I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was that crazy, and I'll be back at it hopefully soon.
Well, that sounds exciting. It's been great speaking with you, and best of luck with the release.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey